Channel, and in today's video we are going to discuss the solution of the rock paper scissors exercise. So this was the sixth exercise of this Python for absolute beginners in English playlist, and for the people who haven't accessed the playlist, the link will be in the description. So in this exercise, basically this is a two-person game in which for example, if person A chooses rock and person B chooses scissors, then person A will win. Then person A chooses scissors and person B chooses paper, then person A will win. And if person A chooses paper and B chooses rock, then also person A will win. So we have to make a game in which the user is interacting with the computer, in which the computer asks the user that do you want to choose 1 for rock, 2 for paper, 3 for scissor. And after that, if the computer enters 1, and we have to make the use of random module in this. So this was a big hint that was given by me. And first of all, what I'm going to do in this video is that I'm going to solve the solution of this exercise, and after that I'll go to my question video and check the comments if there are any answers on this exercise. So let's get started. I'm going to write solution right here because I also need to give you the source code, and the source code will be in the comment section below. So I'll have to ask the user that do you want to enter P for paper, R for rock, and S for scissor. So what I'm going to do is that right now I'm going to run a while loop. So I'll write I is equal to 0, and after that I'll write while I is less than 5. So basically what I'm doing right here is that I'm running a for loop that runs for 5 iterations, that is 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and I'll increment I inside this while loop, so don't you worry about that. But what I'm going to do is that in every iteration I'm going to make the computer ask the user that do you want to enter P for paper, R for rock, and S for scissor. And similarly, if the user enters P for paper, then I'm going to make the use of random module to let the computer decide between three numbers, 1, 2, or 3. For example, if the user entered P, that is paper, if he wants to choose paper, then the computer will go into the random module and he will get the random integer. And after that, if the computer chooses 1, that is I will write here that 1 is for paper, then 2 is for rock, and 3 is for scissors. So as you can see that the computer will choose between 1, 2, and 3. So what the computer will do is that if he chooses 1, that is paper, and if the user has chosen paper as well, then it will be a tie and it will have to print that this is a tie. But if the computer chooses 2, that is rock, and if you have chose paper, then the user will win. Or if the computer chooses 3, that is scissors, then the computer will win. So like that I'm going to use the random module, and I'll make the function right here that how the computer will choose the random integer. So what I'm going to do right now is that first of all the computer will ask the user. So I'm going to write print, and I'll basically have to welcome the user, that is, we have a starting screen of the game. So I'm going to write welcome to the rock paper scissor game. So I'm going to write welcome to the rock paper scissor game, and after that I'm going to put some backslash t's right here so that it gives a bit more realistic look. And after that I'm going to write a print statement again, and this time I'm going to take the input. So I'll have to write choice, I'll make a variable choice, and after that I'll write input. So input is enter your choice, then I'll write a backslash n, and after that I'll write this, that is P for paper, then R for rock, and just like that. So I'll write a backslash n right here as well, and after that I'll write a backslash n here as well. So as you can see guys that I've taken the input from the user, so the whatever the input the user types in, the it will be stored into choice. So I'll write an if statement right here that if choice is equal to P, that is if choice is P, then what the program has to do. And after that I'll write an elif statement that if choice, that is if the user wants to access the rock, then what the program has to do. And after that I'll put another elif statement, and I'll write if choice is S, then it has to do this. And after that I'll put an else statement, and in this I'll print please enter, please enter correct input values. So I'll write please enter correct input values, and as you can see that the user won't have done anything in this else statement, so I'll write I minus is equal to 1, and after all of this I'm going to increment the I, so I'm going to write I plus is equal to 1. So now what we have done is that now we have printed the welcome statement, and after that we have asked the user about his choice, and after that we have just written the if statements in which we'll add some things. So in this if statement right here, in the first if statement, for example, if the user chooses paper, if he wants to choose paper, now it's the computer's choice that what does the computer want to choose. So for that he has to make the use of the random module. Now I can write the random module, for example import random in every if and else statement right here. But guys, this will be code reusability, and as programmers we like to follow the DRY rule. So what is the DRY rule? It is do not repeat yourself. So I'm going to write a function right here, and this function what it does is that it basically gives the computer a random number between 1 from 3. So I'm going to write def, and then I'm going to write random num, and after that what it does is that it imports the random module inside this function. So I'm going to write import random, and after that it returns a variable. So I'm going to write return and random dot randint, and it takes a variable between 1 and 3. So as you can see guys that we had specified that paper is 1, 2 is rock, and 3 is scissors for the computer, but for the user paper is P, rock is R, and scissors is S. So I'm going to write an if statement right here. So I'm going to write that if first of all I'll have to call the random num function. So I'm going to write num is equal to random num, and guys, many people will be confused at this point. They might be thinking that if I put this random num inside this if statement, and if I put it inside the elif statement that we are going to write after this, so it won't be a problem. But guys, when you put this random num inside the if and elif statement, what the program does is that when you put this with the function name with the brackets, it calls the function again and again, and many random numbers will be generated and different results will be coming. So we'll have to store it into a variable named num, and this function will be called only once. So I'm going to write num is equal to random num, and after that I'm going to write if num is equal to 1, that is if the program has chosen paper, then it should print that you have tied, and basically the user and the program has tied, so they must be given one chance again. So I'm going to write I minus is equal to 1, that is I will decrease the number of I so that it runs again for once. So after this what I'm going to do is that I'm going to make an elif statement, and I'm going to write if num is equal to 2, that is if the program has chosen rock, then what should the program do is that it should print that the user has won because paper beats rock. So I'm going to write you have won, and after that I'm going to write the elif statement. So the another elif statement is that if num is equal to 3, then it has to print computer wins this round, and I'll write you have won this round. So as you can see guys that we have completed our paper if conditional right here, that if the user wants to choose paper and if the computer wants to choose paper as well, then they both have tied and the loop will go for once again. And if the user have chosen paper and if the computer wants to choose rock, then the user will have won, and if the user wants to choose paper and if the computer wants to choose scissor, then the computer will win. So just like that what I'm going to do is that I'm going to copy this, and I'm going to put it into the two elif statements right here, and I'm going to make some tweaks. So as you can see that if the user wants to choose rock and if the computer has chosen paper, that's one, then it should print that the computer has won this round. So I'm going to write computer uh, won wins this round because paper beats rock, so wins this round. And I'm not going to decrement the I because the computer has won and this hasn't tied. So after this, if the computer chooses rock and if the user chooses rock, then it should be a tie. So I'm going to write it's a tie, and after that I'm going to decrement the I because I want to make the loop run for once as well, because guys we don't want the user to get demotivated by a tie, because guys if there is a tie we need to give the user one more chance. So after that what I'm going to write is that in the third statement I'm going to write u1, because technically the user has chosen rock and the computer has chosen scissors. So I'm going to write you have won this round and exclamation mark, and after that I'm going to do the similar thing for s. So I'm going to write if num is equal to 1, that is if the if the computer has chosen paper and the user has chosen scissor, then it should print that you have won this round, and it should not decrement I. And I'm going to write the decrement in the third one, and I'm going to write you have tied. And similarly I'll do this right here, that is computer has won this round. And after this what I'm going to do is that right now I'm just going to run this program and I'm going to check if it works. So as you can see our program asks us that welcome to the rock paper scissors game, enter your choice. So I'm going to write P, and after that it tells me that you have tied. So after this I'm going to write my choice again, I want to choose R, and it's a tie again. So after that I'm going to choose P again, and okay, so the computer won this round, so basically I'm losing right now by 1 point. And after that what I'm going to do is that now I'm going to choose rock. So I'll write rock. Okay, so I'm losing, I'm 2 down, and after that I'm going to choose scissor right now. So the computer has actually won this round, and I don't know why this is happening. So I don't know why I'm losing right now. So okay, so I've won right now when I chose paper. So the computer might have chosen rock. So after that I'm going to choose paper right now, and I've won this round. So actually it's a tie where the computer has chosen it 3 times and I have chosen it 2 times. So as you can see guys, that when it is a tie, the computer is not logging the loop, it is actually decrementing the I. And that's what I wanted, because I wanted to give the user at least 5 chances in which one of the person wins. For example, if the computer wins then the program has to log, and if the user wins only then the program has to log, but when it ties it does not have to log that round. So as you can see guys, that we have made our program and we are going to do some tweaks, we are going to do some modifications in this. And I had told you in the exercise video that we also need to print the number of points that are scored by the computer and the user after the rounds. So guys, after doing some grammatical corrections, this program is completed. I mean, I need to make some modifications in this program about how many points the user and the computer have scored. So what I'm going to do right now is that I'm going to put a new line character right here, because I felt that the code was a bit messy. And after this what I'm going to do is that I'm going to make a variable. So I'm going to write computer points, and I'll put it as 0, and after that I'll write user points and I'll put it as 0 as well. And what I'm going to do is that I'm going to now take input from the user about his name. So right here I'm going to cut this statement, and after that I'll put it after I declare the variables. So I'll write name is equal to input, and I'll write enter your name. And after that what I'm going to do is that I'm going to put my name right here. So I'm going to put enter. I'll write, so I'll put a variable right here. So I'll write name, and after that I'll put enter, and I'll make this an f string. So as you can see that the variable will be inside the string, and if you guys haven't accessed the video of my f string, the link will be in the description for the playlist. So now what I'm going to do is that now I'm going to write name right here as well. So I'm going to write name, and I'm going to put an f string, and after that I'm going to write name and f, and similarly I'm going to do it right here. So as you can see guys, that we have written our f strings right here with respect to the name. So when I run this program again, as you can see, it is asking me for my name. So I'll write Ansh, and after that it prints that Ansh, enter your choice, and it just makes a really good experience to the user because the program is asking your name and after that it is calling you by your name. So it really gives the user a good feeling, a good experience, and this is what we want to give to the user whenever he or she looks at our program. So the code is looking a bit messy right here again, and what I'm going to do is that I'm going to print a new line character after I take the input. And if I rerun this program, and as you can see, it is greeting me, and after that it is asking my name. So as you can see, our program works completely fine, and the program is a bit messy again. So what I'm going to do is that right now I'm going to cut this print, and after that I'm going to make a print statement before this. So I'm going to write backslash and right here, and after that if I run this program, rerun it, as you can see it is asking me, and I'll write enter, then I'll write enter, and it is giving me the results perfectly. So now what I'm going to do is that I'm going to make the use of the computer points variable and the user points variable. So basically what are we doing is that when the computer wins, it has to increment this variable by 1, and when the user wins, it has to increment user points by 1. So this is really simple. What I'm going to do is that now I'm going to write right here that if the user wins, you have to increment the user points by 1, that is user plus is equal to 1, and if computer wins, then computer points is equal to 1. And similarly I'll do this for the other elif statements. So I'm going to put it right here, and after that I'll put this right here, and similarly I'll do this for this elif statement, and after that I'll copy this and I'll paste it right here. So as you can see guys, that I've incremented the user points and the computer points variable when they win. And now what I'm going to do, that after this program ends, that is after this while loop terminates, I'm going to print the winner of the 5 rounds. So I'm going to write if computer points is greater than equal to user points, and because we are running it for 5 loops, right? So there will be 3 so the most closest tie will be 3 versus 2, and it won't be a tie. So that's why we should always pick an odd number if we want to choose a winner, because if you go for best of 5, best of 3, or best of 7, then we are getting those odd numbers and we can decide for a winner. But if you are looking at the loop with an even perspective, that is if you want to run this loop for 6 times, for example, if I run this loop for 6 times, then what can happen is that they can tie, and none of them can win as well. So what I've done is that I've ran the loop for 5 times, and I've written an if statement that if computer points is greater than user points, then it has to print that the computer has won the rock paper scissor game, and after that I'll print the name. So I'll write and Ansh has lost it. So I'm going to write an f string right here, and just like that, as you can see that our program has completely been finished. So I just have to print the scores right here as well. So I'll print the computer points were these and the player points were these. So I'm going to write print computer points, and after that I'm going to print the computer points. And as you can see guys, that my PyCharm ID, it gave me an f string by default. Whenever I wrote the variable right here, my PyCharm ID, it made a bracket, and after that it put an f string right here automatically. So I really like that about my PyCharm ID, and I recommend it to you to use that as well. So after that, as you can see, I've printed the computer points, and after that I'll print the user points, and I'll write user. So I'll write user, and after that I'll put a backslash and right here as well, and similarly I'll do this for else. So I'll write computer, so I'll write elif, and after that I'll put a less than sign, and after that I've put you have won the rock paper scissor game, and the computer lost it. So after this and the computer loses. I'll write and the computer loses. So after this, what I'm going to do is that now I'm going to rerun this program, and now basically our program is finished. So I will be playing the game in front of you guys. So I hope, wish me the best. So now I'll enter my name, Ansh, and after that it is asking me to enter my choice. So if this was a live stream, I could have shared with you guys, and I could have taken your choices, but right now I'm choosing mine. So I'm going to write rock, and as you can see guys that I've won this round. And after that, what I'm going to do is that now, keeping my high hopes, I'm going to choose rock again, and I'm going to trick the computer. So I'm going to write rock, and it's a tie. So the computer chose rock again, and now I will choose paper. So I won the round again, and this is a really interesting game. I have won 2 rounds consecutively, so because the tie doesn't get counted. And after that, what I'm going to do is that now I'm going to choose scissor. So I'm going to do scissor, and the computer wins this round. Okay, so it's 2-1 at this point. I need to win a third point to seal my win. So what I'm going to do is that right now I'm going to throw up the computer a bit, and I am again going to choose scissor. As oh my god, the computer wins, and right now it's 2-2 right now. So if the computer wins, he wins this rock paper scissors game, or else it's me. So right now I need to select a good choice. So I'm going for paper. Okay, I won this round. So I won this round, and I got 3 points, and the computer got 2 points, and I have actually won this rock paper scissors game. So this was an interesting one, and I hope you guys understood the exercise video today. And if you have any doubts, you can comment it down in the comment section below, and I'll try to solve it. And I hope that you guys understood the logic behind this program. You know how we use the random module, then how we made this simple function right here, and after that how we use the while loop, then how we use the if else statements in order to get the conditions. Then this is a really good program, and you can add it to your GitHub repository. And this is a kind of an artificial intelligence program, because we are working with real life examples right here. I won't say that this is artificial intelligence, because there's nothing like intelligence in this program, but this is a real life model, and this is a real life computer program. So you can put it on your GitHub, and you can even show it in your profile. So thank you so much guys for watching this video. I hope you understood everything that was inside the video. And if you haven't accessed my Python for Absolute Beginners playlist in English, the link will be in the description. Thank you so much guys for watching this video. I hope you're safe, and I'll see you next time.